Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eunice Chidinmaimo, as you already know. I'll be talking a little bit about grief today and regular questions that I've been getting about this. If you want to know more about this grief journey, my Instagram is always linked in the description box, and my TikTok always linked in the description box. That's the platform where I spoke extensively about this, and so you can get a background on what I'm talking about. I'll be answering regular questions that I get asked most of the time. Honestly, nothing dramatic kept me going. I grew up with loss, unfortunately. So in a way, I just lived. I was really young when it happened. I doubt I understood the gravity of what had happened at the time. I was just living my life with my remaining family one day at a time. That was it. That was all that kept me going. Nothing really, because I was really young. So, I was just living as a child. Grief never goes away. It never disappears, but you can learn to live with it. You learn to carry the weight. You learn to wake up every day hoping that the next day will be a little better. You cry when you need to, and you hold on to whatever gives you hope. As a Christian, I hold on to God. I ask Him questions. People think you cannot question God, and I don't understand why. I ask Him questions. I write petitions. I send to Him. I tender it to Him, and I wait through it. I'll be honest, sometimes I'm warm in that relationship and sometimes I'm cold. Of course, His mercies are new every day, so it's new every day. And that kind of relationship that I have with Him is okay for me for now. One thing I've learned about grief is that grief does not have a schedule. You would think that anniversaries are going to destroy you and ruin your day, that you'll be in bed crying all day. Sometimes that does not even happen. Grief can hit you on a random Tuesday afternoon. It does not wait for the right day. Anniversaries and holidays, especially Christmas, because my family had a ritual that completely died when they passed. I just think about them and I try to go out. I find ways to talk about them. It doesn't ruin my entire day. It's just a quiet kind of missing. I just miss them differently. Yeah. But it does not make my day useless. I'll be honest, sometimes I ignore it and quietly distance myself from that person. Sometimes I flare up. I don't always have grace in those moments, and I am not going to pretend I do. What I will say is this: if you say the wrong thing to a grieving person or to someone that has lost somebody, they will remember. I would just they always make a mental note. This is not someone I should talk about this again, and then they move on. I don't always keep going, and I think that's important to say. I'm not that strong. Sometimes I go to my bed and I bawl my eyes, and I have eye bags for a reason. I used to cry a lot. When grief ambushes me, that day is over. I'm not going to push through it. I stay in my bed, I eat, I watch movies, I cry, and then it passes. That is how I do it. Nothing more, nothing less. That is just how I do it. I give myself grace. I pick myself up when I need to. I don't just stay in bed and wail. I pick myself up when when I need to. Well, both at different times. There were moments where things felt completely pointless, where I said things I'm not proud of. Like, I wish I had gone with them. I wish, many, many wishes not to be here. But then there were other days when I put myself together by asking, what would they want from me? Would my dad be proud to see me defeated like this? And the answer was always no. One thing I do well after I have had a good cry is picking myself up, as I said earlier. I take a bath, I wash my face, and I start again. That's the circle. Maybe touch up, go somewhere, take a walk, maybe go buy ice cream, guilty pleasure. So it just makes me feel better. I take every day one day at a time. I show up strong when I have to. And honestly, because I have accepted that grief will not pay my bills, money makes long grief, especially when you've lost a person for a long time and you've learned how to live with this thing, money makes it a bit better for you to just carry them on and carry their memory on. I can decide to do something in their name. I can decide to do something to make myself happy, to uplift my mood. What I've learned to do is mentally separate grief time and work time and then family time. I like to be the one to hold everyone together. They don't all belong in the same space at the same time. I have to always separate these things and see, you don't know when these things will happen. It just hits you. It just hits you. Two things. First, I wish someone had actually taken care of me as a teenager. I wish someone had sat with me, asked me questions, and taken me to therapy. Nobody did that. Secondly, I wish someone had clearly told me that my dad was never coming back, because I had held on to hope for so long. I thought they were going to come back, but I wish someone had actually said they are not coming back. I only started grieving them as an adult. I lost them when I was a teenager, and I just grew up fast. There was no time to process anything. Life just kept moving. And so I became a woman really quick without even grieving. As an adult, I saw a therapist. Of course, these things will affect you. And so I had to speak to somebody. And through her questions, I realized I had never actually mourned them. She gave me an assignment to mourn them every day. What I felt instead of grief was emptiness, loneliness in my chest. I would go on social media and see complete families taking trips, doing the things my dad and siblings and I used to do, and that emptiness would just widen. That's when I started grieving again as an adult, and it has been really hard, but I'm grateful I can talk about it now, because talking about it is healing me day by day. And so when I started feeling this way, I started speaking to somebody, and she advised me to grieve them every day, because I never really did. I was a child when everything happened. So if you have any more questions to ask me, I could do another Q&A. You can leave them in this comment section or send them to IG, DM, answer them. Thank you so much for joining me on this one. Thank you for all of your support, your likes, your comments. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.